a spirit-to-spirit hello from Golden Rose Psychic Radio. Thank you for joining Dr. Lawrence Cielo and the healers of Golden Rose Psychic Services as they discuss revolutionary psychic healing techniques, do live readings, and take your calls.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Golden Rose Psychic Radio. I'm Dr. Lawrence Cielo, and our show tonight is Shape Up with Sacred Geometry with our very special guest, Chris Kehler. Chris has been with us before. We're so glad to have him back. Of course, my usual teammates will be here. I wouldn't say they're very usual, though. Maybe my unusual teammates will be with me tonight. The beautiful and talented Victoria Bustillos, and, of course, that naughty Ishtar the Witch. All right, so I want to remind you all, if you want to meditate with us before we go on live, we are actually in the studio 15 minutes before we go live, and you're more than welcome to call in, listen to the goings-ons, and meditate with us if you'd like. To do that, you call in at 718-766-4194. Also, you can jump into chat with Producer Pele, and if you do talk to Producer Pele tonight, either getting a reading or asking a question or just introducing yourself to her, go ahead and ask her for my book. It's called The Power of Energy, and we'd be happy to send that to you this evening. So lots of fun in store. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And since our topic is Sacred Geometry tonight, that's what we'll be reading at the end of the show, just kind of seeing what your link, either in this life or other lives, has been to Sacred Geometry, and maybe even some geometric shapes that are in your space that are actually working to heal you and to ascend you. So we'll take a look at that as well. So to get into that reading queue, remember, you got to call in, 718-766-4194, or jump into the Blog Talk Radio chats. All right, well, we've got Chris Kehler with us this evening. Hi, Chris. How have you been?
Ladies, how are you? Good to be with you again. And again, you guys have had way too much fun.
It's good to have you on again.
Thank you.
So, Chris, for our listeners who might have missed your first show with us, tell us more about who you are, where you are, what you do, and why you do it. How do you like that, brother?
Let's get it going. Who I am, my name is Chris Kehler. Okay, I live in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, way up north. We do not live in igloos. We have traffic lights in Winnipeg, so we're well established. What I do is I do quantum energy healing. Basically the same thing as a lot of other healers do, but I have developed my own system, my own way of discerning and finding out what the health problem is within a person, and I'm able to get pretty accurate within a 99% accuracy rate exactly what it is, so I can actually diagnose what is happening within a person's body. So I use a pendulum and charts in order to do this. And like I said, it is very accurate. I remove a lot of different things. I will go into the spiritual realm, remove any types of entities and dark energies and that type of thing. And I also go into the physical realm and remove parasites, bacteria, viruses, the whole shebang. I cover everything. And to do this, I use sacred geometry. That is the theme of the show today. So my sacred geometry of choice is the pyramid. And there are pictures of my pyramid on my website. I call it the Silver Light Pyramid. It's a 5-tier pyramid structure with a lot of quartz crystals. There's some shungite in there. There's some other sacred geometry items and magnets, which make it a scalar device. So it's got a lot of power. It goes about 15 layers deep into the body. So when we do work on somebody with it, it goes very deep, and the problem will stay away.
Wow.
So,
I love that.
That's great. Yeah. Chris, for those listeners out there, and just for myself, can you tell us a little bit of what is sacred geometry, and kind of the basics of it?
Sacred geometry is shapes, and different shapes combined together to form a geometry. Now, we've all taken geometry in school. Now, sacred geometry is geometry that has specific purpose or an energy within it to use it for our higher good. That is the basis of sacred geometry. Now, there's a lot of different forms of it, just from a simple circle to different forms of triangles and pyramids. There's another one I use. It's called a Vestica Pisces, which is a form of sacred geometry. It's a combination of 3 different types of geometry which combine together create its own specific energy for doing different things.
And how did you get into sacred geometry? How did you discover that?
You asked the question, I'm going to give you the answer. The story goes, it was about almost 9 years ago, my first wife passed away. And I was in the printing industry for about 30 years before that. And when she passed away, I was able to retire. You know, at 46, I thought, I'm going to take some time off. The printing industry is very harsh and it's hard on your body. So I took some time off. And, of course, I'm sitting in my backyard, nothing to do. So I said, Chris, let's do something. So I started taking some courses in bodybuilding, and I was always big into going to the gym. But I stumbled upon somebody in a store that does sacred geometry, more so muscle testing and foot bath detoxes. And I took an interest in it right away. And this guy took me under his wing, and he started training me. And sure enough, he looked at me and says, Chris, you're catching on to this really quick. There's something going on here. So I started paying more attention to it, started taking more courses in dowsing with a pendulum and taking courses in quantum touch and different things like that. And all of a sudden I find myself, people are knocking on my door and asking me to heal their diabetes and their asthma. And, you know, I also meet some other people in Alberta, Canada, who are doing this as a business. And I thought, you know what? I've got the perfect opportunity here to do something good for people and also to do something with my life. So I just kept on doing it, kept on training and meeting more people and more things coming towards me. And then all of a sudden I found, you know, I've got an office, I got a clinic with a full schedule, and I work with people all over the world on Skype and on the telephone. And I'm able to do distance healing with these different types of media, with the sacred geometry and the dowsing. And things are really changing for people. I'm actually getting people with almost instantaneous healings at times, and it's just going up and up and up every time I do it.
That's excellent. Chris, I want to ask you about the symbols of geometry. Now, is it like, and I'm a total novice, I'll tell you the truth, is it like the vibration of the shape? Do you meditate with it? Do you sit in its field of energy? How does one, you know, who's a complete novice to sacred geometry, how would one start?
We all know about the pyramids of Giza, and there's pyramids all over the world. They're finding in Bosnia and China, everywhere. Now, the pyramid itself, the way it works, is that at the very top of it, it'll start off as a positive ion. As the slope changes, it then reverts to a negative ion. The negative ions are the good ions within the earth that we absorb when we walk barefoot. The negative ion component within the pyramid is very important. And also, the pyramid that I have, all the pyramids on top of it are placed at 90-degree right angles so that they sit and they form the Star of David, which is another form of geometry. So basically, when you take the pyramid, and what I do when I do a healing is I'll hold it over somebody's head if they're in my office. If you're not in my office, I'll hold it up to the phone or to the camera on Skype. And what I do is I give intent through the pyramid. And the pyramid itself acts as an antenna for quantum energy, and it also acts as an amplifier for quantum energy. So by using the device itself, it makes the healing such a powerful event that it just goes in so deep that it just causes that healing almost instantaneously with a lot of different sources. Now, when a lot of people will do hands-on healing, I've had some people look at it and say, oh, you need to use a tool. Why can't you just use your hand? I says, well, I am using my hands. My hands are holding the pyramid, for crying out loud. So people come to you, and they want some results. They're usually people come to you, they've gone through the whole gamut of the medical system, and they've tried this, that, and the other thing, and now they're coming to you almost as a last resort. So, of course, you have to impress people. You need credibility. So when you can give somebody a little bit of result at the very beginning, you've got their attention, and the pyramid certainly does assist in that.
Yeah, great. You mentioned that the pyramid, and was it the Vesica Pisces? Am I saying that correctly?
Vesica Pisces, yes.
You said those two were your favorites. How did they become your favorites? Like, did you feel a great charge from them when you were using them, or did you see more results when you were using those?
Well, I've got a tool maker. I don't make the tools. I put them together. I give them some structure. But I have a tool maker in Alberta, Canada. His name is Wayne Gatos. The name of this company is Crystalline. And what Wayne does for a living is he runs current into the Earth grid to prepare the planet for ascension. He's one of 13 people on the planet who specifically do this as their job on a daily basis. Now, with the way he makes money is that he makes these tools and he sells them all over the world. So I obtain the tools from him, and once in a while he'll send me one and says, Chris, you need this. So whenever he speaks, I listen. So he will send me different things at different times, and he'll say, use this. And I won't know why. All of a sudden, it speaks to me. I'll use it for a specific purpose, and it makes that big of a difference.
Great.
So Chris, when you're doing your quantum energy healings, do you always use sacred geometry tools, or is it just, each healing is different based on the need?
I will use the pyramid 99% of the time. It is just a really nice tool to use for the simple fact that when I use it, the healing crisis afterwards is a very, very minimal one. And it's a very subtle energy that goes in at a very high level. So that's kind of what you want when you're working with a tool, because I've used some tools where I've almost knocked people out. I almost knocked myself out using certain tools. So you want something that people aren't going to look at you and say, I'm going to sue you, okay? Something that's effective but yet gentle on the body.
I love it. Now, I want to ask you, are you training this now? It seems that you really brought down from the Akashic record, probably, of course, this new technique. You've kind of, put it together with some of the stuff that you've been working with, and you have your own, maybe soon to be trademarked healing technique. Do you train it? Do you teach it? And if so, can people sign up long distance to take your training?
Well, let me tell you, it trains me. Every day, since in the last couple months, almost every couple days, it seems like I go up another level, and the universe and my guides, which are directed closely to heaven, are giving me more and more information to work with. They're giving me more and more ways to go to a deeper level within somebody to really find the problem. So in effect, it is training me. I'm very open to whatever comes in. And there are people, I do have a few people, I very, very finely pick anybody who wants to come under my wing. I do training with them and teach them my system, and they end up just taking it, tend to have their own way of doing things and incorporate my system, because ultimately it is my system and it works best with me, and everybody else has got their own way of doing things. So they'll cherry pick out of it, they'll get started with it and take it and use it their own way.
Right. Yeah, that's what I like about everything I've learned. And I'll tell you, you've really motivated me. I was kind of thinking about how I might want to get started with sacred geometry. So for all of our listeners out there, I'm going to challenge you, if you'd like to participate in the sacred geometry goings-on, like my grandmother would have said, I always say that. Check this out. I am going to start sleeping with, I'm going to start, like Chris suggested, with a circle. And I'm going to scribe a circle on, I've got some really awesome paper, and I'm going to scribe it with, of course, some golden ink pen, which I use for my healing. And I'm going to start sleeping with these energies under my pillow. And again, I challenge or invite anyone who's listening to do it with me. And let's see what it's like to sleep with the energy of a sphere, or moving on into some of the. I know isn't it the flower of life that is one of the big geometric symbols, Chris?
Correct. The flower of life is very big. Now, when you make that circle, what I want you to do is make that circle and put a cross within it, a cross at right angles.
Okay.
Now what you have is something called a divinity ring.
Oh, excellent. So a circle, put in those other marks, and have a divinity ring. And what would you say, Chris? Just spend some time, thinking about it before you go to sleep. See where your dream space goes, what you do on the astral. Would you think that if I or my listeners were to do that we would notice different experiences, brought on by the vibrations of these different shapes? Would that be something we'd notice?
What you're probably going to notice is you may feel a tingling within your body, or just a slight subtle movement of energy, as if you may have gone through an elevator or something like that.
Right.
But as far as the dream state goes, when you take these tools, the important thing is to give them intent. And the best way to give intent is you can just write an intent down on a Post-it note or a piece of paper and put it within the tool or the ring, and that way that ring is going to broadcast that intent. Now, I do sell some other tools that do that. They're specified to do that. They're on my website. You can check them out. And that's probably the best thing to do. When you have a tool, the tool just sits there. You have to activate it and give it intent.
I love that. Okay, great, Chris. Now you, we hope that you're going to do a meditation for all of our listeners tonight on this show. And will you actually be using a pyramid while you do it?
Yes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my large pyramid, the 5-tier silver-like pyramid. I'm going to hold it up to the phone, and I'm going to give it some intent to do a general healing on anybody who's listening. Now, the intent that I'm going to give into the radio show is actually going to stay there within the archive of the radio show, so anybody who listens to it at any time is going to get the healing. That's a beautiful thing about how strong these tools are, is that it does stay within the server of the computer.
Excellent. I love that. And I'm glad you brought that up because, sometimes people ask us how we're able to read energy through time and space. And it's one of those things that it's hard to kind of wrap your Homo sapien brain around. But what you're saying, brother, I completely resonates with me. So you want to give it a go? Are you ready to give us a healing?
I am so ready. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to take my pyramid.
Great.
I'm going to hold it up to the computer. And I'm going to give an intent. Now, the intent is to run the flame of the sweat into anybody who is listening to do a general healing throughout the body. And as I do this, you're going to feel it tingling. It's best to put your hands on the computer, on the radio, on the phone, whatever you're using as a listening device, and absorb the energy. So run the flame of the sweat through everyone who's listening for general healing. Okay, that has gone through. So now the question is, what did you feel? How deep did it go? What's the result?
I felt like a lot of tingling on my left side, on my head, and then I felt a lot of tingling and movement in my crown.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, mine got my feet, and it's so weird. I guess not. The last couple days, Chris, I've been doing this strange thing. I'm glad we can talk, brother. With my toes, I've been like stretching my toes apart and just holding them, and I feel all of this energy releasing. So your healing went right to my feet, and in our technique, old pictures, things we're done with, that we're no longer looking, but we haven't evacuated from our space, tend to move towards the feet. So thank you very much, Chris. That was awesome.
You're so welcome. Now, having mentioned about how energy will stay within the computer server and within the broadcast, I want to let everybody know there is a lot of talk right now about Ebola in Western Africa, and there's a lot of concern about it. Now, I'm not one to buy into conspiracy at all, but my thoughts are people are dying of Ebola. There's just no denying that. So me being me, I just cannot sit on my hands and listen to this day after day after day. So what I did is on my YouTube channel is I put a video doing the exact same thing as I'm running energy to kill the Ebola virus within whoever watches it. Please, if anybody out there knows of anybody in West Africa or somebody who may have been there and has flown back and you want to see this video and it may help you, please, I'm asking, please pass the word around so that people can get some healing from this very, very nasty virus and hopefully eradicate it.
Wow, Chris, thank you. And can you please post that to the Golden Rose Psychic Radio Facebook page? We'd like all of our listeners to be able to see that YouTube right from our page. So that would be great.
I certainly will.
Excellent. All right, Chris, anything else that you want to remind folks about, anything that you've got coming up, or maybe just how to contact you? We're going to step to the side and do some readings, but we want to make sure everybody's got your contact info.
Well, my contact info, my website, if you contact me on my website, you will most certainly get a hold of me. My website is CHRISKEHLER.net. So it's ChrisKehler.net. If you want to book an appointment with me, just press the book appointment button and a schedule will come up and you can book your own appointment. Okay, very easy to do. My appointments are only $55 a session, very affordable, and everybody can participate. My email address and phone number is on my website. Feel free and contact me. Send me a question. Pick my brain. I'm here for you, and all I really want to do is help humanity and to get humanity back on its feet and ready for ascension. Again, the website is chriskehler.net. Feel free and check out all the tools that I have on my store. And, again, feel free and drop me a line and ask a question.
Great. And if listeners, if you liked this show, if you liked speaking to Chris and learning more about sacred geometry and getting the healing, post it on our Facebook page. We'd love to hear from you. And, of course, we'll bring Chris back and find out what he's up to from time to time. Victoria and Chris, are you ready to step to the side and do some readings and healings?
I am
Yes, sir.
ready.
All right. Producer Pele, take us away. All right. Victoria and Chris and I had a chance to step to the side and switch off our radio talking hats and putting on our reading and healing hats, and we're ready to go. Our first readie and healie this evening is Rosemary. So, Rosemary, honey, thank you so much for being patient while we got to this segment. Now, whenever I say hello to someone, they always show me a rose, a metaphoric rose for what's going on with them. So I always like to start the readings that way while my teammates are, looking at whatever they're looking at. So, Rosemary, you came in two colors, red and orange, and the red is really running in the back of the flower. If you could think of, you're looking at a rose, like maybe two rows of petals in the back are red, and everything else is orange. And I've seen this a lot. This is a growth through conflict energy that you're running. But the good news is that you don't need too much conflict to get the transformative change that you're looking for. In other words, the red that's kind of in the background is a stimulus for all of the orange that the rest of the rose is. So, and you've actually got more transforming to do from the conflict that you've already experienced. So you're not actively out there seeking conflict for growth. That's not it. You're still transforming from the conflict that you've already experienced. So, and when I look at the orange part of the rose, it's so impacted with orange, meaning, oh my gosh, girl, if you played your cards right, you could probably milk this for a lot of your incarnation. In other words, looking back on conflict and getting a lot of transformation instead of, it's like one of my friends says, the universe just keeps us teaching us the same, lessons over and over until we get them, or I should say we keep setting up the same lessons until we learn them. So in this case, I think you have learned. I think you have. I don't think you need to create the same type of conflict. I think that just, and I bet this is where the sacred geometry is going to come into your reading, on seeing how best that you leverage the conflict you've already been in to have the transformative change that's still waiting. So I'm going to pass it over to Victoria. Now, I want to tell all of our listeners that Chris is doing a long-distance healing on everyone that we're reading, and he will have a little bit of communication after Victoria and I are done. So, Rosemary, stay tuned. Victoria?
Okay. So what I saw was, it was interesting. As I was connecting to your energy, I just saw this wood coming together, and then I started to see a fire. And so it was like your guys were telling me, like, you've ignited your inner flame for passion of life and for healing, and they tell me that you kick-started it. It's almost like your soul asked and put it and set that intention to your guides, like, you know what, I'm ready to shift. I want to let go of old issues. I'm ready to let go of baggage. I want to move forward. I want to let things go in my life. And it was almost like you're connecting with a past life energy of yours, like almost like you've been making shifts, but you hit this point where who you were in a past life and your gifts in that past life are ready to come in and really meet you. And so so that fire was just burning up what you no longer need. And it's like this burning that I saw was taking place in your root chakra, and it was clearing it and cleansing it. And it was also like it was centering you, and it was centering all your chakras. And it was also like they were showing me that it's a symbol that you're opening up to spirit more. And I got a sense of this really nice, like a shaman, Native American healing energy. And that's when I really started to see your past life. And they were showing me like you were this Native American woman, and you had this ritual for letting go and kind of having healing and kind of it's almost like when people go into prayer and they want assistance and they want to make changes. And so they showed me that you used to do this ritual under like a full moon and asking for that clearing, and you were sitting around a campfire, and that was your way of letting go of hurts and asking for guidance and getting information. And so what they also showed me that this weekend, I believe is some kind of special moon. So they kind of want you to look into that and kind of really kick off that ritual and really connect with that energy this weekend. So that's what I saw so far.
Okay, Rosemary, what I have found is that energetically you're not grounded. There's something within all of us called the biaxis connection. What that connection is, it's an energetic connection from the root chakra, and it goes into the earth in order to ground us energetically. Now, this biaxis also goes up through the entire chakra system and grounds to the sun. So ultimately, your grounding is not quite right energetically. So what I'm going to do right now for you, take my pyramid, and I'm going to reconnect your biaxis to your root chakra, okay? Here we go. Reconnect Rosemary's biaxis connection to her root chakra, please. Through the zero chakra, connect the biaxis to the root chakra. Okay, there you go. That is now connected. So now a grounding is going to start to commence, and you may feel more, how they say, grounded.
Great. Excellent. All right. Rosemary, I also saw something else while Chris is continuing to work on you. What I noticed is there's a pentagon in your space, and as I was watching it, it's moving from a pentagon to a hexagon. So what I did is I just asked you to show me any sacred geometry in your space. I had no idea what you would show. So, and when I asked, of course, I'm so curious. I'm like, well, what does that mean? Why are you moving from a 5-sided figure to a six-sided figure. And so one of the things that it has to do with is DNA activation and the I want to say it this way, the ascending energy in your chakras. So you might want to play with those two signs, a pentagon moving into a hexagon, and just maybe even the numbers 5 moving to 6. So that was a very, but again, it's like almost like a speedometer. That's what I feel like you're showing me, is that you're revving up to this next geometric shape. So that's what I got. Victoria, did you get anything else?
Yes. Okay, let me just, sorry, writing it down. Okay, so what I saw was in, making some shifts, I was taken to your heart area, and I kept hearing opening the door. So it's like your guides want you to do some heart work this weekend, and this weekend seems like it's really powerful for you, and it seems like that new moon. And so what they were showing me was like taking this weekend to make a list of what no longer serves you and what you're ready to change and shift. And they showed me, because sometimes for us, we may not have access to a campfire to do any kind of ritual or ceremony, but they were saying even if you lit a candle in your room, in your living room, a place that really has meaning for you, a place that you go to for solitude and to kind of get yourself together. They're showing me light a candle, have your list with you, and just imagine, you're holding that list, and just imagine that those flames in that candle are really burning up and really clearing out what you don't want to carry anymore. And then they were showing, after you complete this ritual, what they were showing me is create a list, like a gratitude list, of all the great things in your life. It's like everything that would get you into the vortex, as we mentioned earlier. So do the ritual and then do a nice gratitude list to really just celebrate and open that door of change and what you want to keep and what you want more of.
Chris, anything else?
Yes, I do have something else here. This is very important. What I found, Rosemary, is because your body wasn't grounded properly, when you astral traveled, now some aspects of you are not be able to really find their way back when you come back into consciousness. So the well of souls within your body, which is connected to the hypothalamus in your brain, the well of souls connects to heaven, and your soul connects to the well of souls. Your well of souls is stuck on the planet Saturn right now. So many of us are astral traveling to Saturn to check out what's going on there, because there's a lot of turmoil happening, and you are stuck there in a vortex. So what I'm going to do is retrieve your well of souls. I'm going to put it back within your body, and I'm going to reconnect it all, and that's going to help you to go further ahead. So let's retrieve Rosemary's well of souls from the planet Saturn, reconnect it back to her hypothalamus, reconnect the well of souls to heaven, and reconnect Rosemary's soul to her well of soul. And let's just reconnect Rosemary back to her soul again. So when I do this, that specific intent, that generally helps a lot of people out of depression. A lot of people who have concussions, this will happen. It's a disconnect. It's almost like a safety mechanism that happens when there's a sharp blow to the head or a very big trauma, emotionally, mentally, whatever. And that's just something that needs to be pieced back together.
Great. Thank you. Okay. All right, Rosemary, honey, did any of that resonate with you, honey?
Yeah, it all did, because I do sometimes feel like I'm not all present and I'm not as grounded because it's hard for me to make decisions, but I have been asking, and I've been able to hear my spirit guide, who's, I think, a Native American. I don't know if I had a past life.
That's great.
Gosh, Rosemary, thank you so much for your patience and for your willingness to have the healing. So, honey, don't be a stranger. Call us. We'd love to get you back on the show and take a look at, maybe we'll take a look at your guide next time. So thank you so much, Rosemary. We really appreciate it.
Yes, God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, let's jump over to the side. It looks like Roseanne is next in line. So, Producer Pele, would you please set us to the side? All right, Roseanne, thank you so much, honey, for your patience. Now, when I took a peek at you, you come through in yellow today. One of the things I'm most interested in this energy that I see as yellow, of course not really yellow, is how well-rounded it is. It's so funny, I guess that's probably why you called, because of sacred geometry, but this yellow that you're running, and whenever I see yellow, it's always a mental energy, so this is, a lot of times I'll say ones and zeros from computers because this is mental, it's not emotional, it's not spiritual. Right now, this mental energy that you're running, it flows in a sphere, and I really didn't mention it, but the only thing I ever see in someone's space as far as shapes goes is energy that they show me, like, maybe some energy in your elbow or in a chakra or something like that has a shape. And what I've grown to know from reading energy is that when somebody shows me an energy in a sphere, you can move it wherever you want to because you can roll it. Literally, this energy, you can just barely thump it and off it rolls, where sometimes when we might put energy in like blobs or right-angled shapes, it's a little bit more difficult to get the energy to move from location to location. And that's really, again, my extent of ever looking at geometric shapes unless there's symbols in someone's space. So me just seeing that you're running this mental energy in such an agile way, I'm going to take a little bit closer look at why you're running this mental energy, or why you're showing that you're running it and that you're very agile in it. And then what does that have to do with sacred geometry in your space? So I'm going to hand it over to Victoria while I take a little peek at that. Victoria?
I might need some more time, but I'm going to tell you what I started to see.
Okay, Chris, are you ready, honey?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's do this. Okay, now. It's Roseanne, correct?
Yes, it is Roseanne.
Okay, Roseanne. Now, what I found is going to sound a little out there, a little big, a little dark sounding, but I just want to assure you that this is something I do find within a lot of people, and I do these clearings for people, and it just helps to move forward. What I have found is that Satan is within your consciousness, and this is something we need to move out in order to move forward. Now, when I do this clearing, your head is not going to spin around 360. You're not going to puke out green stuff. Please, that is for the movies. We're just going to remove this dark energy out of your consciousness, and then you're going to feel a lightness about you. You're going to feel a bit of joy. You might feel a little bit of emotion as it comes out, but all in all, it's just a good thing we need to do. So here we go. We're going to do that. We're going to use the red bowl and violet flame to remove and cut cords, cast out Satan from Roseanne's consciousness, and we're going to send them into ether. He just left, and he smacked me on the back of the head on the way out, so you can say goodbye to him.
Excellent. Thanks, Chris.
No problem.
Victoria.
Okay, so what I saw was there was a lot of energy in the head, kind of like when Dr. Lawrence said about energy, like mental energy. What I saw was it's almost like on your right side I saw this block of something. It's almost like it's two things. What I saw, it's like you've been thinking about something a lot. I felt like you were stuck in some kind of thought or some kind of belief, and it was from your external world. And it was kind of like when you have something and you're thinking about it and you're just ruminating it and trying to find a solution, or you're trying to, I don't know, it's just something that keeps popping in your head. And also what I heard was there's something that I felt like almost like I was having trouble swallowing. So there was like something, it's almost like something that's hard to swallow, like something maybe somebody said or something going on that's hard for you to kind of take in. So, but it was something in the external world, and so I heard like your guides and your angels saying, just let it go. And what I heard was they were showing me the words like Doreen Virtue uses, clear, cancel, and delete. It's kind of like just let go of everything. Let go of any thoughts. Like it's not worth thinking about. It's like free yourself from having to sit in your mind and think something through and try to find a solution. It's kind of like ask your guides and your angels to let you just flow with life. So what I felt was, because in that block in your head on that right side, I saw like change your perspective of the way you see your external world, or just change your perspective of how you take in your information, and really go back to center and embrace your authentic self. And when Chris was working on you, it was beautiful because it was like if I saw an angel, beautiful white, angels in white, one on your left, one on your right, and right behind you. And it was so beautiful because the way they were positioned next to you, it made the shape of a heart. And it just had this beautiful white light energy and color, and they just, your angels just want you to know that they're there to love and support you. So, ask them for anything you need and anything you want help with, because they're always with you. So that's what I saw.
Great. All right. So I did get something else I want to share with you, Roseanne. When I took a look to see how this yellow energy, this mental energy, like how does that translate or how does that connect to any sacred geometry in your space, you showed a 7-point crown that your crown chakra is attempting to coalesce. I love that word. You said that word. I didn't. That's not a word I'd say. Into 7 points. So 7-point, like I'm not even sure what that shape would be called, a heptagon or something, I think. Hepta, I think is I have no idea. But it's a six-tipped crown chakra that seven-tipped crown chakra. And and I think that is when Victoria talked about shifting that, the way you're thinking, maybe it should be the way your thinking is shifting because the crown chakra is taking that configuration. So it's nothing you need to do. It's happening. So just to let you know that, I think 7-sided figures, whatever they're called, sevens are very up for you right now. So, Chris, did you have something else you wanted to contribute?
Yeah, what we need to do is to clean up the consciousness. We just took out all the dirty. Now we need to clean it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some specific energies into your consciousness to raise the vitality and to help it heal a little bit. And I think Victoria's angels are going to come and help with this one a little bit. So we are going to fill the consciousness with God's love, God's white light, and also highest harmonic gold light into the consciousness. We're just going to stream it and flood it into Roseanne's consciousness. There it goes. Okay. This is going to make you feel like $1 million.
Excellent. Great, Chris.
You know what? Can I add one last thing? Right before you started, I just saw almost like if you had this halo spinning around the middle of your head. It's like this beautiful golden ring that was just clearing your head, and I heard clearing confusion. And then when Chris started talking, I just felt like a lot of heat around you. Just like a lot of, I think it has to do with the clearing, but it was just really nice energy.
Excellent. All right. Roseanne, honey, does any of that resonate with you?
Oh, yes, it does. I've been having some terrible dreams, and now it makes a lot of sense. But I do feel a lot lighter, so thank you very much.
Yes, you are.
You're so welcome.
Yeah. Love you all.
Love you, Roseanne. Don't be a stranger,
Thank
baby.
you.
Okay.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. All right. Producer Pele, do we have time for one more? Oh, yeah, we do. All right. Take us away. Okay, we are back. And this time, we are matched to Daniela, who is, I believe, in chat. So, Daniela, honey, thank you so much for hanging in there with us. All right, so when I said hello to you, you came through in 2 colors of blue. One is kind of a brighter light blue and then a sky blue. So when I ask you to tell me what what this means, right now you are in a big-time self-healing phase. And there's also there's a backstop for you that helps in this self-healing, but it's not anyone but you. So let me see if I can say it a different way. You're undergoing a self-healing in almost every single area of your life. It's not that someone else is healing you. You're doing it yourself. But there is a backstop or a back support, like you lean back against it. But that's you as well. I believe that this is your higher self aided by guides and angels that is really holding space for your own healing. So I might think of it this way. If I knew that about me, one thing, I would quit asking other people questions. I would, if I knew I wouldn't believe other people's viewpoints about me. I would kind of do a lot of gazing in the mirror at myself. I wouldn't think, I might reframe my story of my wounds in this fashion. I allowed myself to enter into this painful situation to learn, X, Y, Z, and I'm grateful that I'm healing myself through it, instead of being angry at the person who signed the contract to be your perpetrator. So it's kind of a high-level thing. In other words, I'm just going to say it this way with very much love in my heart. You really can't blame anybody right now. It's really, the things that you've created are for your highest and best good, and maybe focusing more on self-healing. What does it mean to you versus asking a brother or sister, why did this happen? Why did you say this? Why did we go down this path? There's no answers out there. The answers are within and aided by your guides and angels. So I'm going to see how this relates to sacred geometry and hand it off to my teammates. Victoria?
Okay. And I just got a small message because I'm having puppy difficulties over here. But what I wanted to say, my puppy's over here bugging me in a loving way. What I saw with you is it's interesting. It showed me like a picture of those BFF charms where you cut it in half and you keep half and you give a half to someone else. And I kept feeling on my my right side. Was it my right side? Let me see if that's the... No, it was my left side. Sorry. I kept feeling like this heartache, and it felt like half of like another person, half of was just missing. And I got this visual of you, and that heart went on your whole body, and I just saw half of you was full, and the other half was just missing. And so I felt like there was this aching and longing, this need or this want to feel complete. And I heard your guides tell you, you don't have to have anyone else to complete you. You're already complete on your own. And so they want you to know that, and they want you to acknowledge that. So just know that you have already inside of you all you need to be happy. You just really have to nurture and really just love yourself and be gentle with yourself and inspire yourself because you have it all. So that's what I thought.
Great. Chris?
Yeah, I did come up with something. Now, you heard me mention something about the planet Saturn. What I'm finding is that the war that is going on Saturn is having a very big effect on your emotional body. So there could be some emotional disturbance going on, some emotional issues coming up that you don't quite know how to deal with, or you don't know quite what it is because you don't know what it is. This is something that is planetary, and it is affecting all of us. So what I'm going to do is disconnect your emotional body from the planet Saturn, and things are going to start to flow out. The planet Saturn is the cork. Remove the cork, everything is going to flow out. Here we go. Okay, power cords, connections, and remove the war on Saturn within the emotional body. Okay, that has been disconnected.
Excellent. All right, we'll let Chris continue to monitor that healing. I'm sure he'll have some info when we swing back around. But right now, Daniela, when I tried to understand how sacred geometry works into this self-healing cycle that you're in. You showed something really super genius. And, if you listened earlier in the show, I was kind of asking Chris on ways that maybe some of us novices could start working with sacred geometry. And so you showed one. It's super cool. I'm probably going to play with it too. You show yourself drawing a shape or creating a shape on the floor and then standing on it to get a healing, to get a self-healing. And what you did was so super genius. You start with one, which is a line, just one line, and you use that. You stand on that and get a healing. And then the next night or the next time you do the healing, there's two lines. It's like a V, right? And then the next time there's 3. And then 4, and it goes all the way up to 11. So from 1 to 11, for some reason, scribing, and even that is part of the healing, the scribing. I love that word. I must have been a scribe in a past life. I got really sloppy handwriting now, though. That you'll be scribing, and I think you say something when you do it. So maybe there's 11 points of your healing. So if it were me and I was receiving this information, but again, I'm a crazy psychic, that's exactly what I would do. I would write down a progression of 11 steps towards my self-healing. I would scribe the first one and stand on it and do the healing, whatever that is to you. Affirm it, chant, however you do your thing, and then go to 2, and then to 3, all the way up to 11. So that's kind of I always like when people show, I call it sympathetic magic, where you're doing a little something on the earth and having it, blow through the multiverse to shift energies. So that's kind of what you're showing, kind of a fun little healing there. Like I said, I think I'm going to mimic it. Thanks for showing it to me. All right, let's check back. Victoria, anything else?
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I saw this. It's almost like I got a vision of you kind of almost sitting in meditation or having your eyes closed. And really, like I saw a lot of emotion and just wanting a healing for your inner child. But then I kept seeing you holding a picture of a little boy, a picture of a boy or a male, and wanting to heal a connection that you had with that male from your life. So just know that your angels are working with you on that, and just healing all your connections and healing any spots that you feel like you're missing love or you have hurts. They're really working with your heart. Angels coming in a lot tonight, so just seeing a lot of heart healing going on with that connection and connections.
Chris, anything else you'd like to convey?
Yes, I have one more thing. Now, the same thing we remove from your emotional body, we're going to remove from what I call the quantum body, which is the etheric template or the causal body within your aura. And your physical body reads off of that quantum body. So if there's some disruption within there, you're going to feel it within your physical body. The best way to describe that is if somebody loses a leg and they have phantom pain where the leg was, that's because the quantum body still retains the energy of that leg. So your body thinks you still have it. So, of course, it's going to register as pain. So let's remove the war on Saturn from the quantum body. Cut all cords, connections, and remove the war on Saturn from the quantum body. And it is gone. Simple as that.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris. Okay. Excellent. Let's mic Daniela. And, honey, Daniela, how did that resonate with you?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
It was, it resonated completely. I've taken a lot of notes. I mean, the self-healing, definitely. It definitely feels like I'm healing in literally every aspect of my life, and I think that's probably why I felt quite confused. And I have been asking a lot of whys, and rather than, again, it makes complete sense to me in terms of just my energy and my vibration. I don't necessarily feel that I need to look outside of myself, and I think I just need to reaffirm that to myself, that actually, the answers are within, and I'm able to self-heal.
Right. Right, exactly. Gosh, wow, that was very wise. Thanks for saying that. And thanks for letting us read you. It was wonderful taking a peek at you. And please don't be a stranger. Come back. We'd love to read you again. Thanks.
I will. Thank you all so very
All right,
much. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Now, we've got a question in the studio. So, Jay, honey, thanks for your patience. And Producer Pele says you have a question for us.
Yeah, it's my question. Thanks so much for letting me be a part of the show and taking my question. It's in regards to sacred geometry. I just wondered, just discovering that a lot of things happen. It seems like the universe communicates in triangles. I'm just noticing yoga, as above, so below, and, Star David and things like that. I just wondered if that is correct, where, the triangle energy emanates from a heart in a magnetic form that communicates with other things and people and, maybe events, too, in a past life or in the future, too. I just wondered what your thoughts are about that.
Great. That's a great question. Thanks, Jay. Chris, what do you think about the triangle?
Different shapes will harmonize and resonate better with different areas of your body, of course. There's no denying that. But everybody is different in how a shape is going to resonate with an area of their body. So for one person, the triangle might resonate with their heart. For another person, it could be, within the aura. There's a lot of different things. Everybody is different. That's what you have to remember when you're doing healing work, is that not one thing works on everybody. You've got to look at everybody differently and as their own being.
Right. Thanks, Chris. Thanks so much for your insight on the triangle. Jay, what comes up for me when I say hello to the triangle is, if we're talking about line segments, right? So one, of course, is straight line. Two is either lines that are, like a V, or maybe they're even crossing one another. But the three sides are the first time that it's actually an enclosed or protected space. Just think of it. First we do one line and then two lines, but there's still not any, encapsulation until the third line comes in to make the sacred space. So that's what comes up for me when I say hello to triangle energy. Victoria, anything about the triangle?
You know what? Puppy difficulties over here. That's what I'm...
Do you have 3 dogs? I
have 2 over here, and they're getting rowdy. I'm covering my mic a lot.
Okay, all right.
Sorry. Sounds good.
All right. Well, Jay, that would be what I would say, is that the triangle is where, when I was saying hello to 1, 2, 3, once the third line came in, all of a sudden I started feeling sacred space. So maybe that'll help you out. Thanks so much for your comment and question, and please don't be a stranger. Come back. We'd love to have the interaction and the insight. I can tell you're a very wise person. I noticed that as soon as you started talking. All right, folks. Well, looks like that's about all the time we have to play with our brothers and sisters. So we'll see you next week here on Golden Rose Psychic Radio. Thanks, and good night.
Thank you for joining the amazing psychic healers and teachers of Golden Rose Psychic Radio. Until next week, we'll call that a healing.